Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanam Tari Yamuna Tira Vanam Tari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivadam Hari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Brajadana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanam Tari Yamuna Tira Vanam Tari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Radha Madhava Radha Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada 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 Daim Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivraj Gachajasto Tarasatta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Shirabai Charan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Iskon Bibiti Founder Charya's Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jainitai Gauda Pimanande all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and to Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada Ki. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Taksurundritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Duta Parakamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatandritam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakandritam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer our respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed practically to nil, and a loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Uttama Sloka Charitam Sakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Mahat. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara, Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Om Sarabhyaya Namaha, Mukam karoti vasalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam, Yatkripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto number 1, chapter 10, 11. Chapter 11 just started a few days back, entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka. Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. We have just been hearing the very nice prayers of the residents of Dwarka, who had been feeling intense separation from the Lord, who had been away from Dwarka to attend his business. Where? At Kurukshetra. Yeah. So now the Lord is returning, and today is 11, I believe, right? 11. Yes. Madhu Bhoja Dasharha Kukurang Dhaka Vrishnibihi Atma Futulya Balayar Guptam Nagayar Bhogavatim Eva Madhu Bhoja Dasharha Madhu Bhoja Dasharha Kukuran Dhaka Vrishnibihi Atmatulya Balayar Guptam Nagayar Bhogavatim Iva Madhu Bhoja Dasarharha
dasarhara
Kukuram dhaka vrishnibihi
kukurandhakavishnibihi
Atmatulya balaira guptam
atmatulya balayagam
Nagaira bhogavatim iva
nagaya bhogavatim iva
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
madhu bhoja dasarhara
Kukuran dhaka vrishnibihi
kukurandhakavishnibihi
Atmatulya balaira guptam
atmatulya balayagam
Nagaira bhogavatim iva
nagaya bhogavatim iva
Madhu bhoja dasarharha Kukurandhaka vrishnibihi Atmatulya balair guptam Nagair bhogavatim iva
madhu bhoja dasarharha
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
Kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
atmatulya balayar guptam
Atmatulya balair guptam
nagair bhogavatim iva
Nagair bhogavatim iva
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
Kukurandhaka vishnibihi
Kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
Atmatulla balair guptam
Atmatulya balair guptam
Nagair bhogavatim iva
Nagair bhogavatim iva
madhu bhoja dasarharha
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
Kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
atmatulya balayar guptam
Atmatulya balair guptam
nagair bhogavatim iva
Nagair bhogavatim iva
madhu bhoja darsanarha
Madhu bhoja dasarharha
kukurandhaka vishnibihi
Kukurandhaka vrishnibihi
atmatulya balayar guptam
Atmatulya balair guptam
nagir bhogavatim iva
Nagair bhogavatim iva
madhu bhoja dasarharha madhu bhoja dasarharha kukurandhaka vishnibi atmatulya balir guptam nagair bhogavatim iva
Madhu
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 Bhoja
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 Dasarha
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 Arha
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 Kukura
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 Andaka
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 Vrishnibihi
vrishnibihi
by the descendants of Vrishni
by the descendants of Vishnu
Atmatulya
atmatulya
as good as himself
as good as himself
Balai
balai
by strength
by strength
Guptam
guptam
protected
protected
Nagai
nagai
by the Nagas
by the nagas
Bhogavatim
bhogatim
the capital of Nagaloka
the capital of Nagaloka
Eva
Eva
like
like
translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki as Bhogavati the capital of Nagaloka is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni. Bhoja, Madhu, Dasarha, Arha, Kukura, Andaka, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna. Kindly repeat after me. As Bhogavati,
as Bhagavati,
the capital of Nagaloka,
the capital of Nagaloka,
is protected by the Nagas.
is protected by the Naga.
So was Dwarka,
So was Dwarka,
protected by the descendants of Vrishni.
protected by the descendants of Vrishni,
Bhoja,
Bhoja,
Madhu,
Madhu,
Dasarha,
Dasara,
Arha,
Arha,
Kukura,
Kukura,
Andaka,
Andaka,
etc.,
etc.,
who were as strong
who were as strong
as Lord Krishna.
as Lord Krishna.
So workers may come during the Bhagavatam class. So you have to kind of engage them or something, because normally they're gonna maybe they can work there to start. Yeah. Purport: the Nagaloka planet, the Nagaloka planet, is situated below the Earth planet, and it is understood that the sun rays are hampered there. What does it mean? Hampered there? They don't go there.
They're blocked.
Yeah, hampered. Blocked, correct. The darkness of the planet is, however, removed by the flashes of the jewels set on the heads of the Nagas, celestial serpents. And it is said that there are beautiful gardens, rivulets, etc., for the enjoyment of the Nagas. It is understood here also that the place is well protected by the inhabitants. So also the city of Dwarka was well protected by the descendants of Vrishni, who were as powerful as the Lord insofar as he manifested his strength upon this earth. Translation again: as Bhagavati, the capital of Nagaloka, is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni, Bhoja, Madhu, Dasartha, Arha, Kukura, Andaka, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna. So wherever there is a kingdom, it is one of the important aspects of having a successful kingdom. We were discussing the other day 7 components. Vedic culture actually has all the formulas for everything. So there's a formula, a Vedic formula for for establishing, maintaining, and even expanding a kingdom. And one of the important aspects, naturally, is what is being referred to here? Army. Yes. So here it is nicely described, naturally, how Dwarka was protected by very powerful people. People means residents who had been trained actually for that purpose. So what are those? Just a quick review. What are those 7? It's called constituents. 7 constituents of an ideal or perfect country or nation, it begins by no. It begins by having a qualified king. King. Yeah, we have to start from that. You know. If you don't have a king, you might have a fort, but you're finished. You don't have a king. So king means Vedic culture is all about training kings. Because a king is a leader, isn't it? Everywhere in the nowadays we don't have kings, and actually we don't have leaders also. But we have people who are posing as leaders because actual leader needs to have very specific, detailed qualifications or qualities that are outlined actually in the Bhagavatam. So Vedic culture actually is all about training leaders. Who are the three natural leaders in society? Why are they natural leaders in society? Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. Because actually everyone depends upon them. Those who are by nature leaders will automatically have persons who are followers. You can't have, if you have qualified leader, you will naturally have followers. So Vedic culture actually is not only about teaching citizens to be leaders. Vedic culture is all about teaching individuals to become leaders according to their natural inclination, and also teaching individuals to become ideal followers. That same can be applied in the context of, let's say, an educational institution. Unless you have a qualified teacher and unless you have qualified students. Same thing also in guru and disciple relationship. Unless you have a qualified guru and a qualified disciple, then things won't happen. Things won't happen properly. So the king, Vedic culture, we cannot, when we start looking and reading the various qualities that one needs to develop as a king, it's like, practically speaking, mind-boggling. There's 64, something like that. Maybe quite a, in one sense, there are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. But to become a king and a minister, you need to have more qualities. And more difficult to, easier to become Vaishnava than a king. So king, and what is the second most important component or constituent needed for a successful kingdom? No. I mean, I'm just presenting it in the order that is given in the Shastra. The second most important is that the king needs to have a qualified minister. Yeah, a right-hand man. Just like in any organization, you need to have someone who can understand and carry out the desires or the order of the boss, right? Like manager. One needs to have a good manager. So king, then minister, then kingdom. You need a place, kingdom. Then in that kingdom there needs to be a fort. Yeah. And where where the fort should be, that is also outlined as in the Shastra. And there are different types of forts as well, isn't it? So, king, minister, kingdom, land, area, and fort to defend your kingdom. But to defend the kingdom, you need the army. That's where the army comes in. Yeah, the army. So this is being referred to here. And of course, what will be in the fort? Yes. Without treasury, things don't work. So that's 6 out of 7. What is the 7th? Huh? Allies. What does allies mean? Allies. Allies means friends. Oh. Your neighbors. Well, if we look in Mahabharata or any the story of kings, it's always how to make, to establish friendship, to make, because in times of, I guess it's called in modern day society geopolitics, knowing the strength and weaknesses of different kingdoms and making a relationship or allies, yeah. So Dwarka is also in the next pages. Actually, we will get a little glimpse of what an actual city, because it's Dwarka city. What a city, Vedic city, is meant to be like. So very often, when in the context of our ashram, because we give so much of importance to agrarian living, sometimes prematurely or mistakenly, those who hear us will think that we are against cities. Are we against cities? Yes, we are. We are against the modern cities. We are against the non-Vedic cities. We're against anything that is non-Vedic. The modern day cities are non-Vedic. And now modern day villages are also becoming non-Vedic. Because practically we don't have, if we analyze what has been taking place in the last maybe 40 decades or so, of course so many things have been taking place, but one of the foremost, we could say, most unfortunate things that has taken place is that those who are meant to be qualified leaders in villages of India especially have abandoned the villages, isn't it? Who goes to the Western countries to get a job? Those who are generally more qualified. And therefore, this has, of course, there's a whole plan. One can look at it from another angle or positive point of view, because people from India have gone to so many countries and have taken different responsible positions. As some aspects of that culture has also gone in the Western countries, but it has depleted our villages in terms of leadership, isn't it? So, therefore, Srila Prabhupada, that was and still remains his primary goal and mission, to train, isn't it? To train individuals who will actually become qualified both in terms of leadership, and that is why we are beginning to hear a little bit more about the need to establish what? Kshatriya Gurukulas, which is part of our Varnashrama. Yeah. Kshatriya Gurukulas. We have very few. We have few Gurukulas in the world. Even in India, there are a good number of Gurukulas. But I've never visited a Kshatriya Gurukula because they practically are not existing. So it was and still is part of Srila Prabhupada's vision and plan to specifically train these three levels of leaders within society: qualified brahmanas, qualified kshatriyas, qualified gurukula, qualified vaishyas. Yes. That question was asked to Srila Prabhupada, how to do this, how to reestablish Vedic culture. Of course, one will say, well, the simple way is chant Hare Krishna, and which is true, of course, but Prabhupada gave more insights in addition to chanting the holy name. How did Prabhupada explain how this is meant to be done? Because it's not so obvious immediately how to go about doing it. The proof being that we've not done it so far, even after 50 years of that instruction being given by Srila Prabhupada. So how to go about setting up, reintroducing Vedic culture, which means actually Varnashrama Dharma.
Training.
Yeah, specifically. Yeah, specifically Prabhupada explained that because we don't know in the Vedic culture, because of the way Vedic culture is organized, we have a general idea of who's a Brahmana, who's a Kshatriya, who's a Vaishya, who's a Shudra. But because now we are living in what is called Varna Sankara, we have Varna Sankara, very difficult. We're not living naturally, and people's nature is all mixed and unclear. So Prabhupada gave a very simple directive in that respect. He mentioned that you consider everyone to be most unqualified, which in Kali Yuga is not difficult to do. You consider everyone a Shudra. That's also there in Shastra. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. And actually everyone is. Even those who are generally, there might be some rare exceptional cases, but even people who may claim to be born in a Brahmana family, unless one can establish, going back 7 generations, that all the samskaras were performed, then that person actually is not proper Brahmana. And even those who are born, they also need to take the training. So Prabhupada was explaining that it's like a clean, clean slate. You just, Specifically, he said, you work out, you formulate a curriculum for Brahmana. You formulate a different curriculum for Kshatriya. You formulate a third curriculum for Vaishyas. And those who are successful in taking up the different subject matters, then you designate them. Prabhupada actually uses the word designate, although it is against, in many ways, our Vaishnav culture. No designation. Yeah. No upadhis, no. But Prabhupada was telling that actually, I mean, we may say like this, but we have, even within our, presently, even from the beginning, Prabhupada initiated people as brahmanas, isn't it? He initiated people as sannyasis. So we cannot avoid. So, and for that purpose, yeah, Prabhupada wanted, therefore, that we systematically, that's, as we know, the first of 7 purposes that Prabhupada formulated for his International Society for Krishna Consciousness, to systematically propagate the teachings of the Vedic culture. So this is in many ways a major challenge that needs to be taken up, and that was, of course, in place 5,000 years ago, and it's nicely demonstrated here in the example of Dwarka, how Dwarka naturally, because it is Krishna's abode, Krishna's place, Krishna's fort, so everything was perfectly arranged there. So from tomorrow we will, I think for about 4 or 5 verses, it will be very nicely in this section describing the city of Dwarka, based on Vedic architecture, based on Vastu principles, all of these things that are meant to be subject matters actually within Varnashram college as well. So, any thoughts or comments on this? Yes.
Where's that from? The 7th constituent of kingdom. This is from Manu.
You have to register in Varnashram college. That's in the Kautilya Arthashastra. You see, we have, just like some time back, one devotee from Australia who is a disciple of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he started giving lectures. He was interviewed one time, and the devotee interviewing him was introducing him as, knowing about, Vedic cosmology. He says, no. I'm going to talk about different things that some devotees think is cosmology, but my area of research has been geography, Vedic geography. Vedic geography. Vedic geography is different from, cosmology. Hey, there should be only one class going on. Otherwise, it's distraction. So, it's like Vedic philosophy is different from Vedic psychology. Biology is different from psychology, like that. So he was making the following interesting point. He has some videos, PowerPoints actually. He made very interesting PowerPoints that that describe, from the Vedic point of view, the whole setup of our planet, and different names that are there in the Shastras. So his point was that actually most of this information is not in the Bhagavatam, because the Bhagavatam is especially focused on Bhakti. It deals with cosmology, it deals with many subjects, but generally more briefly, isn't it? It specializes, Bhagavatam specializes in, well, there are 10 subject matters, but the essence of the Bhagavatam is Bhakti, devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It's explaining about dharma, explaining about varnashrama dharma, in many references are there. So the point being that, for example, to introduce and to formulate a curriculum for Vaishya, well, you won't get detailed information in the Bhagavatam, but there are specific scriptures. So that's connecting with your question. Where do you get, where is that, coming from? 7 constituents. So the point being that there's a lot of information, and that is meant to be the subject matter of Brahmanas. Brahmanas are meant to do research, and they are meant to study, and they're meant to teach these different subjects, which are part of what we call, Dharma Shastras. Now one may say, well, we don't need Dharma Shastras. Well, we don't need to eat every day. The Dharma Shastras teach us how we should look after Mother Bhumi, the nature of the land, how land is meant to be cultivated, how cows are meant to be cared for. We are here in the material world, and there are so many material sciences that make up, that are needed, that are given, that are described, how to properly deal with the material energy. So therefore, the whole curriculum, for example, which is, one of the reasons, I would say, one of the reasons why Varnashrama College has not taken place is that we don't have qualified Brahmanas. Brahmana is not someone who's only and exclusively interested and focused on spirituality. Dharma is not simply something that is spiritual. Dharma does not mean, Prabhupada explained, right? Dharma and religion is different. Dharma does not mean religion. And in many ways, it is only the Vedic knowledge, Vedic literatures that give us the proper, and not only proper, but the complete knowledge and understanding of what is called material swadharma and spiritual swadharma. And if we make the mistake, as it has been made, soon after the departure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that mistake was made. We overly concentrated on the spiritual dimension of dharma and became sahajas. There was a whole sahaja movement. When Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually appeared 150 years ago approximately, he was, the whole society was immersed in sahajism in the name of Mahaprabhu, which continues, but much less, I would say, today. And that was like the main challenge during the time of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur to reestablish the real. And therefore, one of the important instructions, and he gave many, not just once, one of the many important instructions given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was to reestablish Varnashrama Dharma. Otherwise, it's like what Prabhupada refers to his spiritual master. The difference between philosophy and religion. If we have only philosophy, philosophy without religion leads to mental speculation. And religion without philosophy leads to
Sentimentality.
yeah, sentimentality, which leads to fanaticism, which leads to sahajism, isn't it? So it's not that there are no sentiments within Krishna consciousness, but this needs to be balanced. Just like Prabhupada, he was making the point, Lord Chaitanya, it's not that he was sahaja, but Lord Chaitanya demonstrated and lived, especially the whole, spiritual dimension and highlighted, we could say, this whole dimension aspect of bhakti. But Prabhupada made the rather, we could say, astounding statement that we will not do like Mahaprabhu. We will not follow, in other words, he's telling, we will not follow in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu in that respect.
We will not imitate.
Huh?
We will not imitate.
We will not imitate, yes. Because we cannot. We cannot imitate also Srila Haridas Thakur. He was making this point in the context of Varnashrama Dharma. So that's why it's not, those who are promoting or trying to kind of highlight the whole Varnashrama aspect of Dharma. It's not to minimize the other aspect, which is the bhakti element. Both are meant to be actually married. That is the expression of Daiva, Varnashrama. So otherwise, how we will, it's like how we will build, how we will be able to, as brahmanas within our society. ISKCON society primarily meant to be a Brahminical society to give guidance, isn't it? But, sometimes we hear the statement that the Krishna consciousness movement, Krishna consciousness has all the spiritual solutions to the world, which is true, but I would say partially true. Now you have to hear the rest of the statement before coming to a conclusion. Krishna consciousness is meant to give both, and we have, the Vedas have, all the spiritual solutions to the problems of society, and also all the material solutions. That we should try to understand. That we cannot and should not neglect. We have all the Bhagavatam and other Shastras give us all the needed knowledge, all the solutions to both spiritual and material problems of the world. And we cannot simply just deal with the spiritual solutions. We have devotees, may not know, may not understand, but we have also the material solutions. For example, one of the major problems in the world is the whole economy is out the window, economic crisis. The world has been in an economic crisis for decades. And I mean, at a level that is on the brinks of total collapse. Why is that? I mean, unless we as devotees know what is the solution to that economic crisis, we may say, well, we don't have anything to do with the economy. But actually we do. It's one of the four basic sciences, Chaturvidya. Chaturvidya is also mentioned in this Kautilya Arthashastra. Chaturvidya, the four sciences, the four basic sciences that make up any successful society. And these four sciences are the basis of the Varnashram College. They are the four faculties. You have to have these four faculties. And then within those faculties, you have sub-faculties. And unless we have these four things right, we can't do anything properly. And it begins with the first one, which is philosophy. Anvikshiki, isn't it? The science of philosophy. In the Western world, they call it metaphysics. Metaphysics. Metaphysics means what is above physics. So, and that basic science of philosophy is meant to be the basis and the foundation for the main leaders in society, especially, beginning with the Brahmanas. So the Dvijas, that's right, the Dvijas means these three leaders. The Dvijas actually means the leaders, Brahma, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. So for each of these leaders, there is a particular science. The first one is what is called Trayi, the science of education for the Brahmanas, Dandaniti, the science of politics for the Kshatriyas, and Varta, the science of economics for the Vaishyas. If we don't know these basic things, forget about everything. That's basic. That's like ABC. If you don't ABC, you cannot even talk. You know? Can't talk, if you can't talk and can't walk, what can you do? You're impaired. Huh? Yes. Well, I mean, anyone who is a Brahmana must know all of these things. Definitely. Our guy, they've come in, you know, maybe you can. Yeah, we're, anyways, about yeah, set time. Any other? You're hiding this morning. He's already small. Now everyone here is quite tall, actually. Yeah, somehow.
Well, a point I thought was pretty interesting. They said that the Vrishnis were as powerful as Krishna.
Yes.
As far as Krishna manifested in
yeah,
world.
right, yeah. Yeah, correct. Nice point. Yeah.
Because Krishna doesn't need to manifest all his strength to be,
Yes.
on top of things.
Yes. They were as powerful as Krishna, as far as he manifested. Yes. Okay. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaura Pimanandi.